guys, we're back. I'm back. It's been a nice little break with Christmas, but that's over and done with. I hope everyone had a good time. Hope everyone was good, and hope everybody got what they wanted for Christmas. I know I did. But anyway, we're back here and we're talking with Mr. Level Earth Observer, and he has some pretty interesting notions about what the special effects industry capabilities were back in the 1960s and 1970s. So let's take a look at this video and just point out how absolutely ridiculous it is.
That everyone should be looking at as far as the moon landing goes. Ray Harryhausen, 60s, 70s special effects genius. I've cited him before with his Jason the Argonaut special effects, comparing it to NASA, and going one step further. I'm going to say today that Ray worked with NASA on the Apollo missions. Well, they certainly used his special effects,
which he has cited without providing any proof. He goes on a little bit further in the video about, I guess, this particular special effects artist took a hiatus, apparently, around about the time the Apollo 11 missions were underway. So, of course, L.E.O. puts that together and says, of course, it was him, because he wasn't doing any movies, so he clearly must have been working for NASA. Wow.
Because we're going to compare footage from one of Ray's films, The First Men in the Moon, from 1964, to Apollo 11, supposed moon landing 5 years later by NASA in 1969. The similarities are unbelievable.
I don't know how he comes to that. I have seen this video, but as you can see, or as you will see, L.E.O.'s observations aren't even close.
It's obvious NASA have used the same style special effects.
It's only obvious to him. I just want to put that out there. He's the only one that sees a similarity.
First up, let's look at Apollo 11. Supposed docking. We're interested in the interaction between the craft and the moon, i.e. the way it's shot. And then we're going to compare it to Ray's film from 5 years earlier, which was 1964. Bear with me. First up, NASA, Apollo 11. The coming home, so to speak, of the pantomime top. Let's have a look. No sound. We're interested in the interaction between the supposed craft and, in this case, the moon behind it. Okay, that'll do for now. Now we'll go to Ray's film from 5 years ago.
Now, just remember that according to Level Earth Observer, that footage of Apollo 11 landing on the moon, or actually that was their ascent, I believe, because obviously the craft is coming towards the camera, so I believe their ascent from the moon. But he's saying that looks the same as this.
Now here's Ray's film from 5 years earlier. Again, we're interested in the interaction between the craft and the moon.
So that's his example. That's what he says is the same. This looks the same as Apollo 11's ascent from the surface of the moon. It's the same. There is no difference in his mind. I have no words. I really don't.
God, the way it's shot. Not interested in this.
Now, someone like me, maybe it's not me, maybe it's everybody. I hope it's everybody. Because it certainly can't just be me that says that these effects that were shot in what he said is 1964 are horrible. Compared to what we're capable of today, this is absolute garbage. And he thinks that this footage from 1964 is the same as NASA's footage of Apollo 11's ascent from the moon's surface.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. How can you possibly think that they are the same, L.E.O? I mean, really? Do you honestly think that they're the same? I can't understand why you would say that, because they are clearly very different. And if you are too ignorant to see the differences, I can't help you. There is nothing anybody can do for you. They're not the same.
I say it's exactly the same style special effects.
No, it's not exactly the same. It has nothing to do with each other. They are so far apart. You can't even realistically say that those look the same. It's impossible.
Should we have a look one more time?
No, I don't want to have a look another time. I'm just going to fast forward a little bit to what you're talking about here. Because you just go over back and forth saying that that looks the same, and that you think that the effects that NASA used, or the effects that NASA used are just ridiculous, which of course they are not. But he seems to think so. So now he goes on to talk about the man himself and his apparent evidence that this special effects creator or artist was working for NASA during the period he was not working for, or he was not making movies. Yes, we're looking at the Apollo program from 1969 to 1972. I believe the last flight was in 1972, and then the first flight was in 1961. That was just testing out if they could actually orbit the Earth. Got to start small. So that's when it started. It was 1961, culminating in Apollo 11's landing on the moon. Right, so the culmination, the pinnacle of the program was the landing on the moon. So there we go.
To 72. Let's check Ray's schedule. Ray worked with a film called The Valley of the Quangy, which came out in September 1969. I'm guessing that was filmed possibly late 68. But essentially, from the end of The Valley of the Quangy, which was 69, to 73, Ray was off. So pretty much the time the Apollo program was on, Ray wasn't doing any film work.
And that is apparently evidence that Ray was working for NASA. That is the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard. I'm not a science person. I'm not a puzzle person. I'm not one of those numbers people. But even I know that making that association, that because he was not working on movies during a particular period of time when something else was happening, it's like that, if P then Q, if not P then not Q, that kind of a thing. I don't pretend to know a lot about. It's a logical fallacy or something like that, but it's ridiculous. It's absolute nonsense thinking that, assuming that because he's not making movies, he must therefore be working for NASA. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, L.E.O. You can't make that kind of association. You have no proof. There's nothing to support that argument at all, period. You don't know what you're talking about. And I wish you'd get off your freaking high horse and just accept there are things that you don't understand. Okay? And because you don't understand them does not make it a conspiracy. You stupid prick.